In this lesson, we are going to discuss something called a range of a particular number, range of a MAC address, range of an IP address. So that's what we are going to discuss in this lesson. So the first number we are going to address is the port number. So port number we have discussed. It is the number or the address of the application, the server or the client in our case. So there could be n number of applications like that. So in the modern TCP/IP computer networking, a port number which designates a service or an application or a piece of code inside a computer is a 16-bit number, 16-bit binary number. So 16-bit just means that 16 digit. Nothing fancy about it. It's just 16 digits. So 16 digits binary number. It's a very big number in terms of binary, but it's not that big if you consider it from a decimal perspective. Basically, this number comes from 0 to 2 raised to 16 minus 1, which means that a 16-bit binary number contains or can have 2 raised to 16 different possibilities or permutations and combinations. So that's why this 2 raised to 16 comes into the picture. If you want more details on this, I recommend you refer to my previous trainings. But essentially, this means that this number, the port number, can vary from 0 to 65565. So this is 2 raised to 16 minus 1, this particular number. So that is the range of port number. So this many different ports we can have in computer networking. This also means that this many different computer applications or code can send packets from a specific IP address. That brings us to the range of IP address. So IP address, just like the port number, it is another number which is 32-bit. Again, 32-bit binary number. We use bit when we speak about binary numbers instead of digit, but it's one and the same thing. So there are 32 different digits for this IP address. So it's a 32-bit binary number. So this number can vary from 0 to 2 raised to 32 minus 1. So this is true for IPv4 addresses. There is something called IPv6. I will not talk much about IPv6 in this training because it's exactly the same concept, just that this number is slightly bigger. And I have not seen it used too many places these days because of a lot of other techniques we use in v4 addresses. So I'll be talking about IPv4 address or the 32-bit thingy whenever I talk about IP address. If I am talking about IPv6 address, which is not 32, it is higher than 32, I'll be specifically mentioning IPv6. If I talk about IP address, it means that it is IPv4 and it is 32-bit. So in our training, we discuss about IPv4 and it is 32-bit. Now the third thingy is MAC address. The third type of address we discussed, MAC address. This is also the address of a computer, just like the IP address. This is a 48-bit address. Obviously, it can range from 0 to 2 raised to 48 minus 1 because it's 48-bit. But we don't worry much about this aspect of MAC address. So MAC address has a lot of different aspects. We will discuss that. But otherwise, we don't worry much about the range of the MAC address normally. Now let's see how it is seen in the real world. Normally when we see the port number, we see a one full decimal. Say for example, 65432. This was the port number we were using. As you can see, this number is less than this number right here, 65432. It is less than this limit. We cannot have a port number bigger than that. Then there are standard port numbers for different protocols. We will see some of them shortly. For example, SSH port 22, 443, 80, all these are different way of expressing different port numbers. Basically, port numbers is expressed as one single number, which is a decimal. That's how we normally see port numbers, one single number like this. What do I mean by one single number? Let me explain that when I deal with IP address and MAC address. So IP address, normally we see IP address like 1.2.3.4. There is a dot in between them like this, and 1 is a decimal, 2 is a decimal, 3 is a decimal, 4 is a decimal, which means this particular number can vary from 1 to 255. I would recommend you take a calculator and calculate all these things if you are getting confused. And this number also varies from 1 to 255. Same with this and this. Altogether, this will become 2 raised to 32. The reason is this is more or less equal to 2 raised to 8. In fact, it is 2 raised to 8 minus 1. We ignore that minus 1. So basically, this is 2 raised to 8 into 2 raised to 8 into 2 raised to 8 into 2 raised to 8. So when you multiply, the power is added up. So 4 into 8 is 32. So this is how it becomes 32-bit. But just remember that the IP address is represented as A.B.C.D in this format. While A is a decimal, B is a decimal, C is a decimal, and D is also a decimal. Decimal is nothing but the numbers we use in our daily life. 1, 2, 3, 4, the one we are seeing. Now, this decimal can vary from 0 to 255. Same with this number. It can vary from 0 to 255. This is actually 0 right here, not 1. It varies from 0 to 255. You will keep seeing example of IP address throughout this course. We have seen a couple of IP addresses, 127.0.0.1. We have seen this IP address. This is a special IP address for localhost. We'll understand what it is pretty soon, but just putting it out there. So this is the format of IP address. So as we have seen this port number. So this dot is there between numbers in IP address. Now MAC address is not represented as decimals. It has a special format like AB-CD-EF-12-34-56. So let me explain what this format is. So this is hex actually. The numbers are hex or hexadecimal numbers. Hexadecimal, if you remember, it is 16 based numbers. Whenever you see hexadecimal anywhere, I have not seen any other use of hexadecimal numbers in the world. Anywhere you see hexadecimal number, you are representing binary numbers in a human readable format. Just remember that. Anywhere, doesn't matter, programming, debugging, memory, doesn't matter. Whenever you look at hexadecimal, you're making your life easier by not writing ones and zeros and expressing in a human readable way. That is hexadecimal is all about. So in this case, this hexadecimal number right here, it's a 2-digit hexadecimal number. So a single digit hexadecimal number is 4-bit binary number. 4-bit. So a single digit hexadecimal number is a 4-bit binary number. If you want, you can refer to my other trainings to see how this works, but you can also use calculator as well. There is a direct conversion between hexadecimal and binary. This means that this whole number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is a 12-digit hexadecimal number. So it is representing 4 into 12-bit binary number, which is 48-bit. So MAC address is a 48-bit number, which is represented as this. We have seen IP address, left, right, and center. We have seen so many IP addresses everywhere. In almost all the tools, we have seen IP addresses. We have not seen MAC addresses. So let me show you a MAC address. So in Windows, to get the MAC address of the computer or MAC addresses of the computer, you can type the command get MAC. So this is the command to get MAC addresses. So I have 4 different NIC cards in this computer or physical devices. In fact, I don't have 4 different physical devices. I have only 2 physical devices. So these 2 are virtual devices. So don't worry about it. Physical and virtual, it's all same thing at the end of the day. System treats exactly same way, physical and virtual. We will discuss about that. But for the time being, you can simply think that I have 4 different NIC cards, network interface cards in this computer. The MAC address of the first one is this, the MAC address of the second one is this, and so on. So if you look at this, 6CA1. So you can see this is a hex number. That's why C is coming. Remember, 16-based number needs 16 different symbols. So it will go till F from A after 9. If you want, you can review my previous trainings or previous session, which we explained all this. But this is a hexadecimal number right here in that format which I shown you. And they put a hyphen in between. There are certain cases the hyphen is removed with a dot, but normally it is always a hyphen in most of the commands and expressions. At the machine level, it is just a 48-bit number. So it is a physical address, which means that it is a property of the hardware. It is something you cannot change as far as the hardware is concerned. It is hard-coded into the hardware, this particular number. So when I purchase a NIC card from the shop, it has this number, kind of like the engine number of a car, while the IP address is like the registration number, which can change as we move from state to state, country to country, etc. MAC address, you can't change. If you want to change the MAC address, you need to buy new device. So to conclude, we have discussed the concept of a range. We have seen the range of a MAC address, from what value to what value a binary number can swing. This is very important, especially in the case of IP address. We will see the IP space quite often. Very important topic as far as networking is concerned. So we will dig more deep into it, and we will see some more details pretty soon.